I met the smiling man whispered ASMR Creepypasta. Don't listen alone. They say if you walk past 3rd Avenue after midnight, you might see him. He doesn't talk. He just smiles. A wide, thin smile, like a crack splitting his face in two, jagged and unnatural, as if it's been etched there by something not of this world. I didn't believe the stories. Not at first. People in this town love their ghost tales, old whispers passed around like worn coins, meant to scare kids into bed or keep strangers from wandering too close to the shadows. But last Thursday, something changed. I met him, and now I can't sleep. It started with the fog. Thick, heavy, rolling in from the river like a living thing, curling its tendrils around the lampposts, choking out the stars, and swallowing the edges of the town hall. I'd stayed late at the library, hunched over some pointless research paper no one would ever read, my eyes stinging from the dim fluorescent lights and the endless rows of text swimming on my laptop screen. By the time I packed up, it was past 11. The streets were empty, silent, except for the sound of my own shoes tapping against the wet pavement. Tap, tap, tap. The rhythm felt too loud, too hollow, like it was calling something out of the dark, stirring the stillness into life. I decided to cut through 3rd Avenue. It's faster, you know, even though people say, well, you've heard the stories. I thought they were just noise, the kind of thing you laugh off over coffee while the sun's still up. I was wrong. The fog clung to everything that night. The streetlights were just smears of yellow, bleeding into the gray, their glow devoured by the haze until they were little more than ghosts of light. I could barely see 10 feet ahead, the world shrinking down to a tunnel of mist and shadow, the edges fraying into nothing. And then I heard it. A soft shuffle, like someone dragging their feet across the asphalt, just out of sight, the sound muffled but deliberate. I stopped, listened. Nothing. Just the hum of the town sleeping, a low drone that pressed against my ears like a weight. I told myself it was a cat, or the wind rustling trash down an alley, or my tired brain playing tricks after too many hours staring at a screen. But my chest felt tight, my breath catching in my throat, sharp and shallow. You know that feeling? When you're not alone, even though you should be. When the air itself feels like it's watching you, holding its breath. I kept walking. Faster now, my hands shoved deep in my pockets, shoulders hunched against the damp chill that seeped through my jacket. The shuffle came again, closer this time, deliberate, like it was matching my pace, mirroring every step. I turned around, squinting through the fog, my heart thudding against my ribs, and that's when I saw him. He was standing under the streetlight, maybe 20 feet back. Tall, too tall, his head brushing the edge of the light's halo, his silhouette stretching unnaturally against the mist. His arms hung loose at his sides, swaying a little, like they didn't belong to him, like they were strung up by invisible threads pulled by some unseen hand. And his face, God, his face. That smile. It stretched so wide I thought his skin would tear, a thin, glistening line that curved up toward his ears, glistening faintly in the dim light. No teeth, just black. A hole where a mouth should have been, deep and endless, pulling the light into it like a void. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My throat locked up, like someone had poured cement down it, heavy and cold, sealing my voice inside. He didn't move. He just stood there, smiling, watching. His head tilted slightly, as if he were studying me, sizing me up, weighing something I couldn't understand. I turned and ran. My sneakers slapped the pavement, loud and sloppy, the sound bouncing off the brick walls and swallowed by the fog. I didn't look back. Not once. But I could feel him. That smile, it was behind me, following me, a weight pressing against the back of my neck, a shadow I couldn't outrun. My lungs burned, my legs ached, my breath came in ragged gasps, but I didn't stop until I reached my front door, fumbling with my keys, the metal clinking wildly in my shaking hands. I made it home, locked the door, checked it twice, then 3 times, then a 4th, my fingers trembling as I fumbled with the bolt, the click of the lock sounding too frail against the silence. The fog pressed against the windows like it wanted in, smearing the glass with its damp, gray breath, leaving streaks that caught the faint street light outside. I sat on the couch, lights off, heart hammering so loud I thought it had burst through my ribs, a frantic drumbeat echoing in my skull. I told myself it was nothing. A drunk guy stumbling home from some dive bar. A creep in a mask trying to freak me out for kicks. Anything but him. The smiling man. The one they whisper about at gas stations and diners, their voices dropping low as if saying his name might summon him from the ether. The one who doesn't chase you because he doesn't need to. Because once he's seen you, you're marked, tethered to him by some invisible thread. That's what they say, you know. He doesn't run. He doesn't shout. He just appears. And once you've seen him, he's yours. A shadow you can't shake, a stain that sinks into your bones, spreading like ink through water. I thought it was nonsense, the kind of urban legend that falls apart under scrutiny, a story too fragile to survive the daylight. Until the next night, I woke up at 3 a.m. The room was freezing, the kind of cold that seeps into your marrow and stays there, turning your blood to sludge. My breath fogged in front of my face, little clouds of white drifting up in the dark, inside my own house, where the heat should have been humming through the vents. I lay there, still, listening to the silence, my ears straining for any sound beyond my own heartbeat. And then I heard it again. That shuffle. Slow, deliberate, coming from the hallway, each drag of his feet scraping against the hardwood like a nail on glass. My stomach twisted, a knot of ice forming in my gut, tightening until I could barely breathe. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight with shaking hands, the light trembling as it cut through the dark. I stepped out of bed, the floor creaking under me, cold as a slab of stone against my bare feet. I moved to the door, my heart thudding in my ears, a wild rhythm that drowned out everything else, and peeked out. There he was. He was at the end of the hall, smiling. That same damn smile, stretching across his face like a wound that wouldn't heal, raw and glistening in the faint glow. His head tilted just a little, like he was curious, like he was wondering what I'd do next, testing me. His eyes, oh God, his eyes, they were empty. Black pits, sunken deep, like someone had carved them out with a spoon and left nothing behind but hollow sockets staring through me. He didn't move. He didn't blink. He just stood there, smiling at me, his silhouette framed by the faint light leaking in from the street, a dark shape against the pale walls. I slammed the door. Locked it, pushed my dresser against it, the wood scraping across the floor with a groan that echoed in the stillness. I don't know how long I sat there, curled up on the floor, my back pressed against the bed, listening. The shuffling stopped, but I knew he was still there, waiting. I could feel it. That smile, it was in the air, thick, suffocating, like damp rot creeping into my lungs, coating my throat with its stench, a presence that lingered even when the sound faded. I stayed awake until dawn, watching the sliver of light under the door, waiting for it to shift, waiting for his shadow to slide across it, waiting for him to come closer. The sun rose, pale and weak through the fog, but it didn't bring relief. It just made the night feel like a promise he'd keep. The next day, I didn't leave the house. I called in sick, my voice hoarse over the phone, barely convincing my boss I wasn't losing it, the words stumbling out in a rush. I kept the curtains drawn, the rooms dim and heavy with stillness, the air stale and oppressive. Every shadow made me jump, every creak felt like him, testing the edges of my sanity, probing for a crack to slip through. I tried to Google it, Smiling Man 3rd Avenue. Nothing concrete. Just forums, scattered posts from people too scared to use their real names, their words fragmented and frantic. Whispers. People saying they'd seen him too, standing in the fog, smiling, always smiling. One guy wrote, "He's not a man. He's a warning." A warning for what? No one knows. Or maybe they're too scared to say. Another post, older, half deleted, mentioned a pattern. People vanishing after seeing him. Their names scrubbed from the records like they'd never existed, swallowed by the same silence that followed him. That night, I heard it again. The shuffle. Closer now, right outside my bedroom door. The sound so clear I could almost feel the vibration through the floor. I didn't open it. I couldn't. I just sat there, staring at the knob, waiting for it to turn, my breath shallow and sharp, cutting through the quiet. It didn't. But something worse happened. The lights flickered, a quick stutter of darkness, and when they came back on, there was a shadow on the wall. His shadow. Tall, thin, swaying slightly, like a tree caught in a slow wind. Smiling. It stretched across the plaster, a dark smear that didn't belong, its edges jagged and uneven, like it was bleeding into the room. He wasn't in the room. I checked, my hands shaking as I swept the flashlight under the bed, into the closet, behind the curtains, the beam darting wildly across every corner. Nothing. But the shadow stayed. It's still there now, as I'm telling you this, a stain on the wall that doesn't move with the light, doesn't fade with the hours. Every night, it's there, watching me, smiling. I don't sleep anymore. I can't, because every time I close my eyes, I see him, standing over me, his head tilted, that black, toothless grin stretching wider, wider, until it swallows me whole. Sometimes I hear him in my dreams, the shuffle, the soft scrape of his feet, but when I wake up, the sound doesn't stop. It's real. It's here, woven into the fabric of the house, a thread I can't pull free. I found something yesterday, an old newspaper clipping, tucked in a book I'd borrowed from the library, yellowed and brittle at the edges, the ink smudged but legible. It was from 1973. A grainy photo of 3rd Avenue, the streetlights haloed in fog, and a headline, "Local man vanishes after midnight walk." In the background of the picture, blurry but unmistakable, there he was. Him. The smiling man smiling at the camera, his face a smear of white against the gray, his grin cutting through the decades like a blade. Smiling at me, across 50 years, like he knew I'd find it, like he'd left it there for me, a breadcrumb in a trail I didn't want to follow. I don't know what he wants. I don't know why he picked me. But I know this, he's not gone. He's waiting. Every night, the shuffle gets louder, the rhythm more insistent, like he's growing impatient, like he's tired of the game. Every night, the shadow gets closer, its edges sharper, its grin wider, creeping across the wall until it feels like it's pressing against me. Last night, I swear, I felt something cold brush my arm as I sat in the dark, staring at that shadow. Like fingers, long, thin, dead fingers, tracing a line across my skin, slow and deliberate, leaving a chill that sank deep into my bones. I didn't look. I couldn't. But I felt it linger, the touch heavy with intent, promising something worse, something final. I can't run. I tried. Packed a bag, grabbed my keys, stumbled out to my car in the dead of night, my breath fogging in the cold as I tripped over the doorstep. But the fog came back, thicker than before, choking the air, wrapping the street in a shroud so dense I could barely see the hood of my car. I started the engine, the headlights cutting through the haze, their beams swallowed almost instantly. And there he was, standing in the middle of the road, motionless, his arms swaying, his smile gleaming in the light, sharp and unbroken. I froze. The car idled, rumbling under me, but I couldn't move, couldn't press the gas. He didn't step closer. He didn't have to. I turned back, retreated to the house, locked myself in again, the door shaking under my hands as I slammed it shut. There's no escape. He's not chasing me because he doesn't need to. He's already here, woven into the walls, the air, the silence, a presence I can't shake. I started digging deeper today, desperate for answers, for anything that might break this hold. I went back to the library, my hands trembling as I flipped through old records in the basement, the air thick with dust and the hum of the microfiche machine whirring in the dim light. I found more, articles from the 60s, the 40s, even earlier, yellowed pages crumbling under my fingers. Disappearances, all tied to 3rd Avenue, all after midnight. No bodies, no traces, just names erased from the world, their stories ending in silence. And in one photo, from 1941, a crowd gathered after a search party gave up. There he was again. In the back, half hidden by a tree, smiling, his grin a stark slash against the faded gray. Always smiling. He's been here longer than anyone knows, a thread stitched through time, pulling people into the dark, one by one, across decades. I kept searching, my hands shaking so badly I could barely turn the pages. I found a journal, tucked in a box of unsorted donations, its leather cover cracked and peeling. It was dated 1922, written by a woman named Clara Hensley. She described him, tall, swaying, smiling, standing outside her window every night after she'd walked home late from a factory shift. She wrote about the shuffle, the shadow, the cold touch that came closer with each passing day. Her last entry was incomplete, the ink trailing off mid-sentence. He's inside now. I can feel his smile. The rest was blank. I sat there, staring at the page, my breath shallow, the basement walls closing in around me. He'd been here a century ago, maybe longer, a constant in the fog, a collector of souls lost to the night. I stumbled home, the journal clutched to my chest, my mind racing. That night, I heard him again, louder than ever. The shuffle circled the house, slow and deliberate, moving from the hallway to the living room, then back again, a predator pacing its cage. I sat on the couch, the lights off, the shadow on the wall looming larger, its grin stretching until it seemed to fill the room. I felt it again, those fingers, brushing my neck this time, colder than before, lingering longer, pressing harder. My skin prickled, my pulse racing, but I didn't move. I couldn't. He's testing me, wearing me down, waiting for me to break. If you're listening to this, don't go near 3rd Avenue. Don't walk alone after midnight. And if you see him, don't look at his smile. Don't let it catch your eye. Don't let it sink into you. Because once you do, he'll never let you go. He'll follow you, silent and patient, his shuffle echoing in your ears, his shadow staining your walls, his touch creeping closer until it claims you. I can hear him now. The shuffle, it's right behind me, slow and steady, a heartbeat in the dark. He's here, smiling, always smiling. And I think tonight he's closer than ever. I think tonight he's done waiting.